We're looking at changing our schedule from one live stream a day to two. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. Welcome to Creature Guide Live Daily News. We're going to get into some fun animal news from around the world and check out some fun animal videos. So let's put up the first video. Studies show that watching a beaver eat cabbage lowers stress by 17%. That's a very interesting percentage. That's probably accurate. Let's see what's how authentic this is. Oh yeah, that's
Is your stress lowered by 17%?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I would assume there are other beavers within like the same enclosure that he's in, but he seems to be having a pretty enjoyable time with his cabbage. So yeah, I'm guessing this is what, maybe a 50 or 60 pound individual, though it could be a female, so it might be less. Not sure if it's a North American or a Eurasian beaver. Um, it is interesting because when you see beavers, especially when they have access to bananas or strawberries, especially bananas, they become extremely greedy when it comes to that type of fruit.
Really?
They start making those distinct beaver squeak sounds. Well, not exactly a squeak. It's more of like um, a, a child murmuring, maybe, or maybe a pygmy person murmuring. I don't know.
Is it because it's sugar?
Probably, and it's just really intense on the taste buds of the beaver. Okay, let's get over to the next or the first article.
I think I put up a second one. I did.
Oh, okay. Let's see what's going on here. So wildlife traps think capture an orangutan. I wonder where this occurred. Maybe over in Sumatra. Oh wow, haven't seen this before. He just somersaulted to one of his favorite trees. Yeah,
It's just funny.
he seems to having a pretty enjoyable time.
How dizzy is he after that? He almost ran into the tree.
Yeah, I think he was a bit dizzy. He's even grabbing onto the tree like, whoa. But I'm going to keep doing this, even though it puts me under threat of other orangutans. I think it's a younger orangutan, too. So, heading back in time from Sci News. Europe's Cretaceous fauna includes more ceratopsian dinosaurs than previously thought. Using newly discovered fossils and cutting edge imaging, paleontologists have solved the puzzle of Europe's missing horned dinosaurs, ceratopsians, reclassifying animals once thought to be distant cousins of iguanodon as true members of the ceratopsian clade. Um, I'm guessing whatever they're referring to, like maybe certain specific species of ceratopsian, weren't in the ceratopsian lineage. In fact, I believe there are one or two different species. Now, maybe they will mention them, but it's still a huge debate as to whether or not they're a species of ceratopsian or possibly pachycephalosaur. But I don't recall any being mixed up with a ceratopsian or an ornithopod or an iguanodontid like iguanodon. So
I
this
checked
is
my lineage, and I don't think it was ceratopsian in it.
you sure?
No, but I did one of those tests.
Okay, well that's good because I would be really concerned. I don't want horns growing out of my head. So let's see, or an elongated frill. Otherwise, I'd look very I don't know, like I wouldn't have a lot of genetic variety. So
I think you would have too much genetic variety.
yeah, it's true. I can't stick. I don't want any Archosaur lineage in my DNA. Okay, well, okay, that's not true. I wouldn't mind being a T Rex, but let's see. I would have very small arms. I don't think that would go very well, and I couldn't brush my teeth. Let's move forward. Ceratopsians were a group of herbivorous ornithischian dinosaurs best known for parrot-like beaks.
Wait, you could just chew on a hedgehog or a porcupine.
I don't think. What? What? Where do you get porcupine from or hedgehog?
Cleaning
How
your
would that
teeth.
even fill me up? Unless I'm
No,
like
no,
a
no, to clean your teeth.
Yeah, I don't think hairs would work, and there's oils on those hairs too, but, I mean, there's mint on the floss as well, but that's not gonna work because at some point because I'm thinking of very large, dental floss sticks, at some point, like, what you could have it where my teeth start shedding, so because they consistently lose their teeth like crocodiles and sharks. I think that would work better for a ceratopsian. These dinosaurs lived mainly during the late Cretaceous epoch, about 166 million years ago. Ceratopsians go back much further, like back somewhere around 165 million years ago during the late Jurassic period. So that is very far off. Maybe with larger type species, but even they don't really start appearing until somewhere around 90 to 95 million years ago. Let's see. So ceratopsian fossils are abundant in Asia and North America, yet have been almost completely absent from Europe. Until now, evidence on the continent consisted only of a handful of incomplete and debated specimens. The discovery of new, more complete fossils of Ceratops from the late Cretaceous of Hungary prompted a fresh investigation using CT scanning and detailed evolutionary analysis. First described in 2010, Ceratops has been controversial, with some considering it to be a horned dinosaur, while others interpret it to be a relative of Iguanodon, but with possible characteristics of a ceratopsian. Okay, I have not heard of this before. So apparently, like it was somewhat stating or making it out to be in the first paragraph, this species of ceratopsian was being confused with an ornithopod. I haven't heard of that before. Now, obviously, it looks very distinct from later species of ceratopsian, especially the ceratopsians that had horns and even elongated frill at the back of their skull. And this animal looks, I guess, like a lot of the earlier species of ceratopsian, but I wonder what made it distinct and almost ornithopod like. So, using new cranial material, Professor Susanna Maidment, a paleontologist at the Natural History Museum, London, and the University of Birmingham, and colleagues found that not only was this dinosaur ceratopsian, but that a previously described rabidontid called Mochlodon was also the same species. Whoa. Okay, Rabidontids were a large group of ornithopods that occurred actually very early on in the late early Cretaceous period, so over 110 million years ago. And I believe they were a branch of the Elasmaria lineage of the Iguanodontids. So it also consists of animals such as
Wait a minute.
Mosasaurus.
What was the name of that thing again?
Mochlodon?
So
Or
was that person watching, like, the first season of Friends?
like they're mocking?
No, it's when,
Different spelling.
one of them was making mucklet.
I don't know what that is. Like the
It's
custard
like
thing?
chocolate, but not, and it bubbles in your mouth.
I can't think of what that would be like. It's not a crunch bar.
It wasn't real.
So
It was a made up
yeah, but was it an actual dessert?
it was this fake chocolate stuff some company made that was made of stuff that couldn't get an FDA approval
Oh,
after they were all eating it.
it sounds normal. I think maybe
Sheesh.
never mind. Let's see. The analyses also showed that some other dinosaurs previously thought to be Rapidontids had been long misclassified and were also ceratopsians. While Iguanodon and Triceratops look very different, the groups they are part of the groups they are part of both there's grammar problems here. Both evolved from a common ancestor, meaning they both inherited certain characteristics. They also independently evolved four-leggedness, complex chewing mechanisms, and a large body size. There were different species of ceratopsian that were also strictly well, I believe it was a mixture, but they could be quite bipedal or only walking on two legs. And it was quite common with different types of iguanodontids. And then later on with the different species of hadrosaurs, well, different species of hadrosaurs could walk on all fours or walk on two legs. But this animal, it seems, was mostly a quadruped, so walking on all fours. Let's see. This means that their teeth and limbs look quite similar, both because of their shared history and way of life. So, when we only have small parts of the skeleton to look at, it can be quite difficult to tell what's what. By confirming the existence of ceratopsians in Europe, The study fills in a long standing gap in the journey of these dinosaurs across the northern hemisphere. I believe, unless I'm mixing it up with this animal, but there was another genus of ceratopsian that was discovered in Europe recently. Let's see. Because the first fossils discovered of Ectoceratops were so incomplete, it meant a lot of scientists doubted it was a ceratopsian. What's so exciting about the new Ectoceratops fossil is that it allows us to confirm that horned dinosaurs roamed the islands of Cretaceous Europe, but also challenges us to radically rethink our understanding of these ancient ecosystems. The earliest ceratopsians, such as yin long, evolved in Asia before spreading multiple times into North America, where they evolved into frilled species such as Triceratops and Torosaurus. Well, that was much further. That's at the very end of the Cretaceous, around 67 million years ago, with Triceratops and Torosaurus. Yin long was back in the early Cretaceous period, so over 100 million years ago. I, the easiest route for these dispersals would be through Europe. What? Unless I'm mixing up the connection of the continents, I would assume they're taking like the Bering land bridge from Russia to Alaska and not traveling from Europe through Greenland and then into eastern Canada, then finally, central North America. Hmm. Let's see. We know that dinosaurs were able to cross the Atlantic. Oh, okay. I must be mixing up my specific animal migrations, which was just starting to open during the Cretaceous. Dinosaurs such as Allosaurus have been found in Portugal and the United States, showing that they had at least some ability to move between continents. Except you're talking about completely different types of animals. We're referring to larger species of carnosaurs from around 150 million years ago. Yes, you did have different species of Allosaurus. So this was there were different species of Allosaurus, but, on average with, like, let's say, Allosaurus fragilis, it was around 30 feet in length, 9 meters, probably weighing somewhere around 2.5 to 3 tons. And then Allosaurus europus, which was over in Portugal at around the same time, was somewhere around, I believe, 25 to 30 feet in length, or pushing 8 to 9 meters and probably weighing somewhere around 2.5 tons. But I don't believe any species of ceratopsian would have coexisted with any of these animals. So, I just don't think that would be a good animal to compare it with. Lots of animals can swim, and as the islands of the Central European basin weren't that far apart, it would make sense that dinosaurs were able to island hop. I still think, despite in the Jurassic, but I think it was a little more um, noticeable in the early Jurassic, much less so around 180 to 200 million years ago, rather than the end of the Jurassic when it came to how close the continents were still merged with one another. I still think it would have been quite challenging for something like a small ceratopsian to make it across that much ocean,
We're
and
talking about
also,
swimming.
yeah, and also not get eaten by the pliosaurs along with it, or different species of sea crocodilomorphs. Okay. Horned dinosaurs like Triceratops are some of the most iconic dinosaurs, but most of them are from North America. And now we've found them in Europe, hiding in plain sight because they've been misidentified for decades as other types of dinosaurs. Well, it sounded like the scientists, the other paleontologists, had no idea what they were looking at, also due to extremely fragmented remains. Triceratops, however, this was also at the very end of the Ceratopsian lineage, right before the end of the Cretaceous, 66 million years ago, and they had already s been situated in North America, at least their ancestors, for, at least, now that I'm thinking of it, 20 to 27 million years, and so Triceratops was pretty much at home over in different parts of Southern Alberta, over in Montana, Wyoming, Colorado. So, um what I was trying to get at with Triceratops is that there have barely been any large horned dinosaurs found in different parts of, well, Europe. Well, there've only been smaller individuals, so barely reaching a little over maybe 8 feet in length, or pushing a little over like 2.5 meters. And in Asia, they also did not reach the size of animals such as Triceratops. All of the large horned dinosaurs were over in North America at the end of the late Cretaceous. So, um, that was interesting to see. Let's head over to the next video.
Floppy Rabbit said, "How do you know time periods?"
Um, yeah, but it's simply just looking at the okay, well, if it's just me specifically, geez, way back. I don't remember how it first started.
How long have you been studying the animals?
Yeah, it's been about 20 years. So, um,
Well, I would say that probably answers it.
yeah, well, in the documentaries, they never really told you how long each time zone was, or they would be a bit off in some instances. And then also, even looking at the different books, they would give you different time zones. And you have it where basically, if you're looking at the Mesozoic era, it starts at around 252 million years ago and ends at the beginning of the Triassic period and ends at around 66 million years ago at the end of the Cretaceous period. But let's see, it actually took quite a bit of time, mainly to see which dates added up to finally get the um, close enough estimates for each period. Oh, so let's head over to the next one. So, what are we? Somewhere in Asia? Seems to be what some type of macaque. Maybe it's a rhesus macaque.
He looks like he's sneaking.
I think there's over 20 different species of macaque. A specific group of monkeys.
Woo!
Is he trying to steal like a fruit or something?
I don't know. Look, he just walked up on the boat. He's like, they kicked me off.
There is a specific group of macaques, well, species that will feed. I think they're called crab-eating macaques in some part of coastal Thailand. And for the most part, they feed on different species of crab within the coastal areas, and they will use rocks to help crack open their external skeletons. So, moving forward from the csmonitor.com, droughts in East Africa stoke tension between herders and lions. Let's see. A prolonged drought in East Africa has increased lions targeting livestock and causing significant financial losses for herders. In retaliation to recent attacks near Kenya's Amboseli National Park, the Maasai people have killed 6 wild lions. That's considering because they're often, in current times, referred to as the protectors of lions, and this is the complete opposite. Um, this seems to be a one of the older individuals. Let's see. Lunkito, one of Kenya's oldest lions who lived in Amboseli National Park. There's also some more famous elephant herds over in this area. And this is also where some of the largest elephants exist. Was photographed on February 20th, 2023. The lion was recently killed by herders in retaliation for livestock loss. Human wildlife conflict in East Africa is being fueled by a prolonged drought. So this is a bit of an older article. Let's see what happened. Park. What on earth? Parkeru Nitereka lost almost half of his goat herd to hungry lions that wandered into his pen, located near Kenya's iconic Amboseli National Park. That's interesting. I wouldn't think that they would have any problems in this area, really, because I would think they would have a lot of compensation from the nearby protected areas, and um, they would maybe have pretty good fencing. So I just find this a bit surprising. The goat herder's loss made headlines in the East African countries that led to the spearing to death of 6 lions in retaliation by the Maasai people, who have coexisted with wild animals for centuries. The killings highlighted the growing human wildlife conflict in parts of East Africa, the conservationists say, has been exacerbated by a years long drought. Hmm. I didn't know about this. At the same time, the predator population within the parks has increased. Hunger and thirst can send them into communities. Mount Neterika said losing 12 goats is a huge loss for his large family. I sell these livestock in order to afford school fees. I don't know how I will afford secondary school fees for some of my children. I thought the Maasai in general homeschooled, so I find this kind of surprising. The Big Life Foundation, which runs conservation programs in the area, has been offering compensation to herders who lose their livestock to predators, but the compensation does not match for the market rate for cows, goats, and sheep. Herder Joel Karumbu said compensation should match the market rate. Cows are expensive and can cost as much as 80,000 Kenyan shillings or $577 each. One cannot compare 80,000 shillings to 30,000 shillings. We receive very little compensation. This is why we become angry. And despite receiving compensation, we come out and kill the lions. I mean, I understand that. Still unfortunate on both ends. So Rosi Lekimankusi, a mother of five, said 13 of her goats were killed by lions in the same village, Mebarigani in Kahiado County, just 150 kilometers or 93 miles from the capital, Nairobi. Yeah, Nairobi's interesting. You tend to have it where lions will sometimes take out like dogs just outside the city because the national park where they inhabit is right next to the city. Let's see. So, um, this is a big loss for us because my husband and I have no other jobs. Her biggest fear is that such lion attacks will become even more common in her Maasai village that borders Amboseli National Park. Big Life Foundation, which has run the compensation program for 20 years, said it could not afford to pay the market price, but asserted that the amount could not be disregarded because it at least expresses solidarity with herders for their loss. I find this really interesting considering you would think um, all of these foundation, there's no way that that small of a compensation would have really much of an effect on them at all. So, yeah, this is quite insane. It could be a little just to make sure your anger goes down, but it's better than nothing. So Daniel Sambu, who coordinates the foundation's predator protection program.
How much did it say they got paid?
I don't think it mentioned that they did.
Yeah, right there.
No, it just mentioned that the cows cost $577 and yeah, supposedly they receive little compensation. He said the foundation also gives community scholarships for local children and support for medical facilities. Let's see. Yeah, we mentioned that earlier. Okay. Well, this was unfortunate conflict. Let's head over to the next video. Yeah, I've heard a lot of different issues going on with like the protected areas and the different local peoples over there. So this is a North American elk, and yeah, I think it's just a younger female bison. It's
Uh,
definitely in the rut. I mean, was it somewhere in the eastern United States?
he didn't wanna play.
Yeah, that was quite interesting. It got freaked out.
I
He seems very proud of that.
think he's mooing at her.
I'm guessing it's like he's bugling. I'm guessing it's like late September or early October when this is occurring. So, from theweek.com, UK's surprising wallaby boom. The Australian marsupial has colonized the Isle of Man and is now making regular appearances on the UK mainland. Well, let's see what's going on here. Marsupial colonizing, I wonder what area. Gray squirrels, muntjac, and ring-necked parakeets are among the invasive species who have made a home on British shores. Wallabies are among the latest exotic rivals to thrive in the UK's increasingly mild climate. A long-standing wallaby population on the Isle of Man has risen to more than 1,200, leading to debates over a potential call, as well as strategies to prevent the Australian marsupials establishing a foothold in the rest of the UK. Wallabies are not new to the UK, but they have never been as prolific as they are now. Where specifically? Oh, that didn't hit me. So the Isle of Man has now over 1,200 wallabies. Now I'm not sure what specific species of wallaby this is, considering there are several different kinds. Let's see. They likely descend from wallabies brought to the UK in the 19th century or the 1800s for zoos and private collections. Over time, some of the animals either escaped or were deliberately released, possibly during the two world wars when some owners were unable to look after them. A famous group of wallabies settled in the Peak District, though it is thought they have since died out following a harsh winter in 2010. Britain could be on the verge of a wallaby boom. There is certainly a pattern emerging, and Britain ticks many of the boxes for wallabies to thrive. Conditions are mild, space abundant, and predators scarce. Free to roam, these cute creatures have a habit of multiplying when no one is watching, with known clusters in the Chiltern Hills, Cornwall, and Wiltshire, as well as sightings across Cumbria, Yorkshire, and Northumberland. Experts say that in many areas, locals have stopped bothering to report sightings as the marsupials are so commonplace. Wow, how common are they on mainland Britain? Because at least that's what I'm wondering. So far, we only have a bit of an estimate or a large estimate of the ones over on the Isle of Man, which is a small island situated just in between the mainland of Wales and Britain. So on the Isle of Man, the wallaby boom is already a fact. The first marsupials arrived in 1965 as inmates of Wildlife Park. The enclosures, however, provided or proved less than secure, and the escapees and their descendants have since colonized a significant portion of the northern part of the island. Their effect on the environment has led to a debate over measures to contain their numbers. A call once on okay, so this is a mass killing of the animals. Once unthinkable, now seems a possibility. Once an invasive species becomes established, it is extremely expensive and extremely difficult, if not impossible, to exert any meaningful control. Well, I think it really depends on the species. I don't think in some instances it's too hard to take them out, but it also depends on how you're going about it. So if it's individually trying to seek out the wallabies, then yeah, it can be pretty challenging. Though cute, the mob, as wallabies are collectively known, has wreaked havoc on the Isle of Man's sensitive ecology. The animals disrupt local wildlife by nibbling native vegetation, destroying reforestation attempts, and disturbing ground nesting birds. I find it interesting how so far all of well, some of the sources that the week is listing as are other newspapers, except for one ecologist. I've caught this though with other
Yeah,
newspapers
you've
too.
said that to me a lot.
The Guardian
One
said,
quotes the other one.
"Yeah, this," or they start or several start off with like the same 4 or 5 paragraphs. So let's see. Um, the animals disrupt local wildlife by nibbling native vegetation, destroying reforestation attempts, and disturbing ground nesting birds. Huh. I didn't realize that with the wallabies when it came to disturbing these type of ground nesting birds. But I think what it means by nibbling native vegetation is also over browsing it. But they're also wiping out any native vegetation for the other native species in the area. Studies conducted on the island show that some wallabies spread the parasite toxoplasmosis in their droppings, which could pass to local livestock. Farmers are also concerned as they damage fences as they roam, which can allow livestock to escape. Um, yeah, I mean that disease can be harmful for anybody.
Well, I don't think people understand how many species are susceptible to that.
Yeah, it's quite a few. Um,
It's something that was always talked about for babies getting it from cats, but yeah, that's not even that's just for humans.
yeah, it's pretty harmful. I mean, it's interesting. Marsupials have this. There is agreement that something needs to be done, but no one wants to use the word call on the Isle of Man. Um, yeah, I think it's just been, I don't know. There comes to a point where it's an invasive species and you just take it out. And I mean, there's not really much of a benefit of having the wallabies on anywhere over in Europe. Wallabies are not only a tourist attraction, they've become embedded with Manx national identity. Oh, you're gonna have to change that. So,
Well, that's like the raccoons in Japan.
oh yeah, those guys. They're probably a bit worse in some instances, but the wallabies seem to be doing a lot of damage despite. I mean, I would say 1,200 is a small number, but for that number, they're wreaking havoc everywhere. So, yeah, just shoot them. Let's go to the next video. Um, um,
For an animal lover, you are so funny.
yeah. Well, sometimes you have to just throw the spear. Okay, let's see. Where this is occurring? It's a very mountainous area. It's not like I believe Kenya or well, southern Kenya or northern Tanzania. Whoa, that was a bit of a dodge. I wonder where the rest of the herd is.
I don't know,
But at
which
the moment, she's alone. Also seems to be the wet season, judging by how green everything is. And the lions seem quite muddy, unless they were just running through some water. Oh, okay. Let's head over to next article. I'm not sure if that calf made it. So, the Times.com, monarch of the glen at risk from non native Sika deer. The Sika breeds faster than the native red deer, is better at eluding hunters, and has a more destructive effect on scarce woodland. I wonder where this is specifically occurring. Sika deer are native to different parts of northeastern Asia. So, different parts of these are female Sika deer in this quick video setting. So you can find them different parts of eastern Russia, northeastern China, I believe in certain parts of eastern Mongolia, and as well Japan, but they are not native to wherever this is occurring. So, oh, so Sika deer filmed in Scotland by Highlands Rewilding. Yeah, they're definitely not native to Scotland, and they're likely having a very negative impact on the vegetation over there. And they're big competitors for every native deer species in the region. So, Scotland's monarch of the Glen is in danger of being usurped by an invasive deer species, the Sika deer, which is native to eastern Russia and East Asia. Eastern Russia is a part of East Asia. Has a worse effect on woodland, breeds faster, and is harder to call than Scottish red. The SNP's Nature Bill, which is being debated in Holyrood, proposes more control of Scotland's record deer population, but a new paper says that indiscriminate calls will hasten the Sika's takeover. Indiscriminate calls. What is that supposed to mean? Like you're taking out the fawns? I mean, the problem is that they're not supposed to be there, and uh, I mean, unless you're going to just send them to a deer farm, um, kind of to take everybody out. So Scotland's deer population is at an all-time high of almost 1 million and has likely doubled in the last 35 years. Scotland's not a very large place. I mean, I'm trying to think of how large it is. Maybe around 9 to 12,000 square miles, or a little over, maybe somewhere around 18 to 24,000 square kilometers. So that's a lot for that small of an area. I mean, Florida has 1 million white-tailed deer, and that's a decent amount for the size of the state. It's not hitting me the square mileage or square kilometers for the state of Florida.
Texas is nearly 9 times the size of Scotland.
Yeah, Texas is somewhere around 325,000 square miles, 360,000.
It's
Oh,
268,597.
keep mixing that, and because I keep thinking,
Scotland's 30,414.
oh, okay, so it's slightly bigger. So 60,000 square kilometers, or 30,000 square miles for Scotland. I keep thinking we're half the size of Alaska, and I forget like how much smaller we are compared to Alaska. So let's see. Doo, doo, doo. So has likely doubled in the last 35 years. I'm guessing due to a reduction in hunting. According to a new paper by the environmental body Highlands Rewilding and the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology in Germany, the Sika deer's natural advantages mean it benefits from untargeted calls. That's a red deer, I believe. Um, so I'm glad that he's over in Scotland. I will say though, he seems to be in one of the few temperate rainforests over in Scotland.
I was gonna say, is this picture from well, it has moss on the ground too.
Well, you used to have a wide variety of different forests. A lot of Scotland used to be covered in forest, and then much of it was, well, deforested. And many tend to view Scotland as just having a lot of pasture land. And the truth is, a lot of that is actually quite degraded um, soil in many regions. And there's a lot of erosion, and it's also due to simply these forests being quite rare. Um, and simply not enough hunting when it comes to the animals on landscape, even the native species. So it takes about 4 times as long to call a Sika deer as a red deer because they are so vigilant and can crawl through gaps as low as 25 centimeters. or I think it's around 10 to 11 inches. The tougher Sika can tolerate the cold. Wow, that is that's actually quite small. That's interesting. The tougher Sika can tolerate the cold and wet highland weather, and even if a quarter of their population were culled each year, they would breed enough to maintain their numbers. On top of this, the native red and roe deer get nervous when the Sika whistle during the mating season, putting them off their game. Whoa. Just the whistle from the Sika deer is putting off the native species. Shoot them. Okay. Gosh. I'm hyped. Callum Brown, a scientist at Highlands Rewilding and a senior researcher at the Karlsruhe Institute, said, "We are deeply concerned that by managing all deer populations in the same way, we might inadvertently help the invasive non native Sika deer to outcompete our iconic native deer species, red and roe deer." I don't understand. Is it illegal to shoot their or bow hunt the Sika at this point? Spear them?
I don't know, but it
Um,
sounds like you were right about the type of deer you were looking at.
did it mention it was a red deer further up top?
No, it just said that their native deer is red.
Oh, well, no, I was just trying to guess. I'm pretty sure that this specific picture further up is a male red deer.
Yeah, you said
He,
that, and
yeah,
then
he's,
it said their native deers are red deer and whatever else. I just remember
um,
red.
he just seems like a younger individual. Um, Probably in the fall though. Where was I getting at? Yeah, that's also. Are there even strict? Um, I guess I'm confusing it with the native species, but yeah, I'm guessing that it's not legal to hunt them, and it should be. So let's see. And we are deeply concerned. I already said that. Um, while the problem of overpopulation in Scotland is widely recognized, we don't want to see Sika crown the new monarch of the Glen. No, it won't be. Get rid of that thing. Um, that's a red deer. I like how this article is very much pushing the red deer out there, but the roe deer is being a little pushed to the side. I mean, it happens. I mean, he's much smaller. He's only about like 80, maybe 80, 90 pounds over in Scotland, or a little over 40 kilograms. The red deer in these regions can reach over 500 pounds, or a little over 150 kilograms. The SNP's Natural Environment Scotland bill intends to get or to set legally binding duties on ministers to improve and regenerate nature, not just protect it. Studies have found that the UK is one of the world's most nature depleted countries, and that nearly 1 in 9 species in Scotland are at risk of national extinction. Let's see. But this new research paper by a team of ecologists, deer hunters, and foresters suggests the national debate is ignoring the risk to native deer if they do not make a strategic call. Um, yeah, it seems that way. Let's see. I don't think it's mentioning any. Oh, yeah, they can tolerate poor habitats and poor weather. I don't know what it means by poor weather. Maybe droughts that impact the region, maybe extremely
Freezes.
heavy, yeah, heavy snowfall. Let's see, achieve higher densities in same habitat. So apparently, I guess it wasn't hitting me with Sika deer, but they can have more fawns than red or roe deer. Better condition on same feed. We don't know what specific feed they're feeding on, but they're definitely going to be having a huge negative impact on however many red and roe deer are in Scotland. I do not know the estimate at the moment, but yeah, this is quite a it's quite a vicious animal. And then the whistles are having a negative impact. I wonder if they're also more aggressive than the red or the roe deer. So, favor denser habitat. So they're probably taking advantage of those few forces as well. Increased deer management and culling, which doesn't account for Sika's advantages, is likely to reinforce these advantages. We could see Sika and hybrids becoming the dominant species in areas where they are present. So, are they able to breed with each other as well? Sheesh, that's another problem.
350,000 to 400,000 estimated red deer.
Whoa! So there are a million Sika deer, and there's 400,000 over in Scot 400,000 red deer over in Scotland. Sheesh. When the get some wolves out there. When the Rural Affairs and Islands Committee met with deer practitioners from across Scotland in May, the Sika population was almost out of control. The national data and response was lacking. Overgrazing by dense herds strips the landscape of young trees and reduces biodiversity, meaning calls are of increasing importance. Well, I guess maybe it's a bit of a risk to put wolves out there considering you don't know what specific species the wolves are going to focus on because you can
Even
have it where they're
wait,
going to focus on
wait,
the red deer.
it's saying there's a million because this says there's an estimated 225,000 to 45,000 Sika deer in Scotland.
That's it.
That's what this says.
Oh, wait a second. Did it say a million deer total? Okay, yep. Um, well, apparently they're increasing quite quick when it comes to the Sika deer, but 45,000 can still have a pretty negative impact.
Well, a 25 to 45 estimate, that's a almost doubling the estimate.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, even the smaller number still has an impact. And question is also like the roe deer population. When the I already said that. Let's see. The Association of Deer Management Group said in July that 138,534 deer were called in 2023 to 2024, the highest on record. Yeah. Wow. Interesting. It has voiced concerns that the bill would put pressure on employment in the deer management sector due to the costs of higher numbers of calls. Hmm. Oh, I wanted to say, "Oh, look, these guys, they look so cute," and then you realize they're Sika deer. Like, "Oh, I need to get rid of you." The Scottish government said managing different species of deer across rural and urban Scotland requires a variety of approaches. In all circumstances, we want to ensure deer management in Scotland is sustainable and brings benefits to rural communities and nature. That's why we are supporting 4 deer management pilot projects this year, trialing a mixture of financial incentives and support for venison. Um, yeah, but is it also pointing to specifically also the Sika deer? Now I'm guessing.
That's maybe what maybe what it's doing.
Um, I swear there are other different species of invasive deer over in Scotland and not just the Sika deer.
How do these
These
deer get there?
people imported them and they just let them loose.
That's a crazy amount of import to end up at over 25,000.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have it where fallow deer, and they're technically not native to Europe, and they've just multiplied into probably in total what the millions.
Wait, is fallow an actual
Yeah, it's an actual species of deer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're actually closely related to the extinct Ice Age giant deer, the Megaloceros, which it used to be assumed that Megaloceros might have been closely related to elk or possibly moose, and they're actually more closely related to the fallow deer. So, these include 2 projects led by Nature Scotland to increase the annual culling of non-native Sika deer in native woodlands and commercial forestry. We will work closely with partners as these schemes progress and use findings to inform future deer management policy. Nature Scott is in the process of developing a Sika deer management strategy, which will address the concerns around Sika populations in Scotland. This will be published in due course. I think that's it. Okay, well, that's unfortunate with the impact on the red and roe deer. Let's head over to the next video. What do we have here? It seems like a I think a black rhino calf with zebra foal. Oh, careful, buddy.
No, we need to go. Let's go.
Oh, there's a warthog in the background.
He's just watching like, "Oh, what is this idiot doing?"
There's two. What's behind him? I thought I saw a black wildebeest on the other side of that blue wildebeest.
And off to mommy.
Oh, oh, it looked like he was right next to. I thought it was a zebra foal, but it's actually a full-grown adult in the background. It's just a plain zebra.
It's just
I think that was a white rhino too. It looks like from the side this calf had a bit of a pointed lip, but I guess you could also say the skull structure is different. Um, hmm.
is that
I
a
still couldn't tell what that other
there's
animal
like
is.
is there 3 or 4 warthogs standing there just watching?
Seems that way. Wonder where that occurred too. Well, it's good to see that wildebeest didn't harm him. Male wildebeest can be quite aggressive. Let's see. So from ScienceGlobal.academy, tigers seem to be bouncing back in remote Sumatran jungle. Seems to be an healthy individual on a trail camera. So, a camera trap survey has identified more than double the number of critically endangered Sumatran tigers than studies have found elsewhere on the Indonesian island, in a positive sign for protection efforts. Sumatran tigers are the last remaining population of the subspecies Panthera tigris ondaca, one of two tiger subspecies. Let's see. I guess in the area. Oh, it's probably the Malayan tiger and the Sumatran tiger. Working with the Gayo indigenous people, researchers attached 60 sets of camera traps to trees in a previously unstudied part of the Lusur ecosystem in Sumatra, Indonesia, one of the largest intact rainforests in Southeast Asia. The traps captured images of 17 tigers over a 90-day period in 2023 and 18 tigers in 2024. Well, at least they increased. I'm also guessing this is in a specific forest over in somewhere in Sumatra. But yeah, that's not a huge accomplishment, but we didn't lose any.
Well, I think maybe that's what it's saying.
Let's see. While previous 90-day surveys on Sumatra spotted only 7 tigers on average.
Huh.
Yeah, but it says while previous maybe okay, it said 90-day period in both years and beforehand. Okay, that's a massive increase. Wow. In total, the survey identified 14 adult female tigers, 12 males, and 3 sets of cubs, as well as one adult tiger of unknown sex. It surpassed my expectations just because the literature up until this study said that we weren't supposed to find tigers in these densities. So it was a very promising result, testament to a lot of efforts that have been going on in that region. Sumatran tigers are threatened by um, because of limited data. The population estimates varies from 173 to 883. Well, actually, mentioning that, yeah, is interesting. I mean, the poaching for trophies, traditional Chinese medicine, and logging for dipterocarp trees. I haven't heard of that. A valuable hardwood. Um, yeah, it's kind of goofy, I think, or the reason why for the traditional Chinese medicine. But um, yeah, I don't understand it. While the 90-day periods were used for comparison, the researchers ultimately surveyed for 180 days in both 2023 and 2024, which provides a more reliable record across seasons, says Deborah Martyr at the NGO Flora and Fauna International, who is not involved in the study. The higher than expected tiger count in the looser ecosystem shows the lowland forests there are rich in prey, especially sambar deer. So it also suggests monthly rounds made by rangers have deterred poaching. Sandbar deer are a pretty regular food source for tigers in different parts of South Asia. They can get, I believe, a bit further north into certain parts of China, and I believe they're running around certain parts of Russia. But they can reach around 800 to 1,000 pounds, or a little over 400 kilograms.
Could we just drop them in Scotland?
Oh, yeah, for the Sika deer. Um, I'm trying to think. I believe there are Sika deer over in eastern Russia, so it's possible that they could help. Um, but I think I think another problem is maybe certain parasites that tigers might have, considering they haven't been native to Europe at all. Like
I was
maybe
kidding.
well yeah I know, but I was just referring to some people would think why not. Um, so let's see. Um, Okay. Near Gunung Lusur National Park, the study area is patrolled by rangers paid by the NGOs Forum Konservasi Lusur and Hutan Harumau in partnership with the Environment and Forestry Service of the previously war-torn Aceh region. The research suggests more rangers are necessary. In recent years, tigers have gone extinct in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. Oh, they showed up. They showed up recently back in Cambodia. Let's see. What more of a wake up call do we need? The tiger in Southeast Asia right now is really in dire straits. Oh, and it ends. Well, that's dramatic. Okay. I'm glad that there's another individual or two that showed up, but technically, twice as many or more than twice as many from the previous year. So
That
that's
was
good to see. Let's go to the next video. So, one gentle push, one life returned to the ocean. What are we looking at here? Sea turtles?
I'm not sure the word is
Um,
a gentle push.
oh, oh, did he get stuck? Oh, he was flipped over. How did that occur? Another turtle flip him over? And the problem is sea turtles can quickly get sunbaked too. Like they can roast in the sun after a short period of time. So that's also why you tend to see them lay their eggs at night so they don't dehydrate to death. And now there is a problem where in certain areas they can get caught in the midst of sharp rocks. And I don't understand why they take those routes when it comes to just heading back to the ocean.
Do they have echolocation?
Um, I don't believe so.
So they just
Um,
memorize where they're going.
oh, well, yeah, when it comes to those specific routes around the ocean, yeah, they have a very good memory and distinct instinct to go in specific directions. And it varies depending on the species of sea turtle. So, heading back in time from News, ancient protein analysis sheds new light on rhino family tree. Paleontologists have retrieved ancient enamel protein sequences from a fossilized tooth of Ippiaceratherium, a rhinocerid that lived in Canada's high Arctic between 24 and 21 million years ago, the early Miocene. I don't think I'm familiar with this specific genus of Canadian rhino. Most of them, like different parts of the later Miocene epoch, or let's see, different areas of the Pliocene epoch, and as well as the Pleistocene or the Ice Age. This is a much earlier species of rhino. The recovered sequences allowed the researchers to determine that this ancient rhino diverged from other rhinocerodids during the Middle Eocene Oligocene epoch, around 41 to 25 million years ago. Um, that's more like late Eocene and the whole Oligocene epoch. The new data also shed new light on the divergence between the two main subfamilies of rhinos. Elasmotherini, which contains woolly rhinos such as the one-horned Elasmotherium, and Rhinoceratini, which contains even today's different species of rhinocerid like Ceratotherium. And you had other different species further back in the Pleistocene, Pliocene, I believe even the Miocene that belonged to this family as well. Suggesting a more recent split in the Oligocene around 34 to 22 million years ago than shown previously through bone analysis. So let's take a look. So I believe there are two different species of rhinos here, but I don't think they coexisted with each other.
Oh, won't let us blow it up.
So yeah, you have okay. There's three actually here. So there's a Lasmitherium. There's a little two. Well, he's not little, but there's a two-horned Coelodontia antiquitatis in the background, and then you have the Stephanorhinus, which I believe lived much earlier in time compared to Elasmitherium or the Coelodontia. And I believe the Coelodontia was one of the last woolly rhinos to exist. So going extinct probably somewhere between 9,000 and 11,000 years ago. And also going extinct, I believe, a little slightly later than the woolly mammoths did on the mainland. And other predators in the region, cave lions, cave bears. If you're talking about like different parts of Eurasia and even like the northern parts of North America, Elasmotherium, I believe, possibly went extinct a bit earlier in the Pleistocene. So maybe somewhere between 20 to 40,000 years ago. And then Stephanorhinus, I believe this animal was existing somewhere in the Pliocene or the Miocene epochs. So, Dr. Mark Dickinson from the University of York and colleagues analyzed a tooth of Epicyritherium using a technique known as chiral amino acid analysis to gain a clearer understanding of how the proteins within it had been preserved. By measuring the extent of protein degradation and comparing it to previously analyzed rhino material, they were able to confirm that the amino acids were original to the tooth and not the result of later contamination. So let's see. It is phenomenal that these tools are enabling us to explore further and further back in time. Building on our knowledge of ancient proteins, we can now start asking fascinating new questions about the evolution of ancient life on our planet. The rhino is of particular interest as it is now classified as endangered species. And so understanding its deep time evolutionary history allows us to gain vital insights into how past environmental changes and extinctions shape the diversity we see today. To date, scientists have relied on the shape and structure of fossils, or more recently, ancient DNA, to piece together the evolutionary history of long extinct species. Let's see. However, aDNA rarely survives beyond 1 million years, limiting its utility for understanding deep evolutionary past. While ancient proteins have been found in fossils from the Middle to late Miocene, roughly the last 10 million years obtaining sequences detailed enough for robust reconstructions of evolutionary relationships was previously limited to samples no older than 4 million years. Huh. Oh, interesting. I mean, um, it's still about 4 million years at least, but that is quite a reduction. The new study significantly expands that window, demonstrating the potential of proteins to persist over vast geological timescales under the right conditions. Successful analysis of ancient proteins from such an old sample gives us a fresh perspective to scientists around the globe who already have incredible fossils in their collections. This important fossil helps us to understand our ancient past. Um,
Um,
yeah, I'm a bit confused. What did we find out? Oh, okay. So it's specifically when the two families of rhinos split. But I was just looking for something else, despite it really being in the first paragraph. Okay, that's good to see. Let's head to the next video. What on earth is going on here?
I just thought this was weird.
I mean, I guess it can occur.
Somebody wanted milk.
Yep.
Just
And
not getting any.
yep, that's interesting.
And the
I haven't seen this before, but I guess it's definitely possible. You
Are
could
those
probably have
cows or
it where.
buffalo?
Oh, no, I think they're cows.
And nobody's bothered.
Yeah. I think it's possible a cow could adopt a pig, but she seems to be dry.
Okay, well,
Huh? Yeah. Okay. Heading to the next article from discoverwildlife.com. With speeds of 100 miles per hour, it leaves birds like swifts and albatrosses eating its dust. Did you know the fastest flying animal in the world isn't a bird? Well, if you're saying specifically on powered flight, yes. I mean, technically, the peregrine falcon can't soar at or fly at around 200 miles an hour, but it can dive at around that speed or 400 kilometers an hour. Ish.
I don't think I'd wanna do that.
I would think certain roller coasters, though, at some point. Do they not?
Move that fast?
Yeah.
I doubt
It
it.
always just seemed that way. Let's see. You can forget your swifts, your peregrine falcons, and your gray-headed albatrosses. They may be fast, but when it comes to level flight, it's not a bird, but a mammal that holds the record. Yay! I feel proud because I'm a mammal. Mammal pride. Brazilian free-tailed bats, Tadarida brasiliensis, are nimble slate mammals that weigh about the same as a walnut. I don't know what that is in grams. They are known for their
And is it a
enormous.
big walnut or little walnut?
Yeah, there's a wide variety. They are known for their enormous roosts in North, Central, and South America and the Caribbean, and the dizzying spectacle they create when the females emerge at dusk. Millions of bats spiral into the darkening sky as they head out to hunt. It looks stunning, but for a long time, scientists underestimated bats. Bat flight was thought to be slower and less efficient than that of birds. Bats, the story goes, are less good at generating lift and aerodynamically flawed because their sticky out ears and weird noses. Features specialized for echolocation stimmy the flow of air over their bodies. Let's see. This dogma was challenged in 2016 when a group of scientists from the US and Germany set out to measure bats on the wing. They concentrated their efforts on a 10 million strong colony, of Brazilian free-tailed bats roosting at the Frio Bat Cave in Texas. Of course, it's going to be over in Texas. So let's see. Um, he definitely has smaller ears compared to some other bats that we've seen recently, and very distinct. His arms are clearly visible. It's quite interesting how they have a very distinct wing, fingered or fingered wing compared to like the pterosaurs, for instance. So the flying archosaurs during the Cretaceous period, whereas those animals, their ring finger that you could see would extend for more than half of the wing and control quite a bit of the flight. Every night for a week at twilight, one scientist stood outside the mouth of the cave and gently netted a single female. He then attached a tiny radio transmitter to her back and released her back into the column of emerging bats. 20 miles away, a second scientist was on standby in a Cessna 172 plane fitted with radio antenna. With the bat in flight, the plane took off. It then followed the bat for hours, recording data as it went. Wow. Um, I guess you can be somewhat far behind the bat to keep up with it and not disturb it. That's what I also wonder is that how do bats deal, like specifically with helicopters, different types of planes? I guess you could even say vehicles too. They must be quite used to it after some time since all of these different inventions have occurred. The scientists learned many cool things. Just like birds and insects, the bats adjusted their flight speeds in response to the wind. When wind support increased, the bats flew more slowly. When there were crosswinds, they sped up. At faster speeds, the bats were also more likely to pause between wing beats, suggesting they had switched to gliding. I mean, that makes more sense. You can also minimize your energy usage in that way. And probably it also prevents from the tearing of the wings as well. Most impressive of all, however, were the speeds they reached. The peregrine falcon may well achieve speeds of 200 miles per hour or 400 kilometers per hour, but it does that downhill, assisted by gravity when it plunges from the sky. When they are flying horizontally, their maximum speed is closer to 70 miles per hour. Swifts and albatrosses can cruise at similar speeds, but Brazilian free-tailed bats leave them in the dust. In short bursts, the agile mammals can reach speeds of up to 100 miles per hour, 200 miles per hour. Whoa, that's quite impressive. Geesh. This makes Brazilian free-tailed bats not just the fastest flying mammal, but the fastest living flying anything in level flight. As the scientists said themselves when they wrote up their findings for Royal Society Open Science, the flight performance in bats has been underappreciated. That's one giant leap for mammal kind, or should I always say, flight. So, um, my question is also, what's the pickup of these Brazilian free-tailed bats? Like, how quickly can they get from 0 to 100? So that's a big
It's
question.
their 0 to 60. That's pretty funny.
Oh, it's over. I guess they don't know. But that's really impressive. What was it? So interesting. The maximum speed of the peregrine falcon is 70 miles per hour, or 100, around 140 kilometers per hour. That's not bad. I mean, it's still what around the same speed as a cheetah. Possible for a cheetah to reach that speed.
Wait, a cheetah can run 100 miles an hour?
No. Maybe pushing 70. Um, Recent speed estimates have just been trashing it and making it out like it can
70 miles an
reach.
hour or something, isn't it only like 100, 110 kilometers?
I think it's around 2 kilometers,
Oh,
and
hold on.
I'm guessing they're feeding on different species of insects while they're flying as well. Probably feeding on like different species of mosquitoes. There's a wide variety of different species of mosquitoes. Maybe going after certain smaller moths.
112.6.
Oh, but so is it when it comes to specifically like okay, it's wait, how many kilometers per mile? Well, you just looked up the speed compared to the kilometers. So I thought it was like 2 kilometers in a mile. It's just different for speed as opposed to overall
Same
measurement.
thing.
Okay. Well,
70 miles equals 112 kilometers.
whoa. Or okay. So it would be maybe around 360 kilometers per hour compared to 200 miles per hour. even though it's a diving speed. It's powerful enough to kill, ducks, geese, chickens, and anything.
320, almost 322.
Oh, well, that's much lower. Interesting. Okay. Alright, well, let's head over to the next video. Let's see. Crocodile problem here? Oh, no. Looks like there's a Thompson's gazelle,
Someone gonna get eaten?
or it's a cat. No, I think somebody's in there.
Isn't it usually a croc or a cat?
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
Where'd it
That was quite a
where'd it
oh,
go?
no. Oh.
What?
It's AI.
Why?
Where the lion just
I
disappeared.
think it just kept running. 'Cause look, it was
Uh,
all dusty further back.
yeah, but I don't think it takes that long to,
Watch what it does.
finally step on the brakes. Well,
Watch
for
it.
it to work.
It just jumped sideways and the cat kept going.
Yep, but where? We don't see it. That's why I think it was possibly AI.
If it is, that's annoying.
Okay, well, heading to the next article from worldanimalnews.com. Mexican gray wolf numbers increased by 24%, with 32 additional wolves now roaming throughout Arizona and New Mexico. That's despite the low genetic variety of the Mexican gray wolf, because they reached a bottleneck in their
What did
subspecies
you say?
their subspecies population. I guess at least for the overall population is good to see. I do wonder though what the population is, considering it's had an up and down for quite some time, and at least since the late 2010s. It hasn't really seemed to have changed too much. They're over in New Mexico and Arizona, but I think they're split into two different populations. So the U.S. population of endangered Mexican gray wolves grew by 32 animals, from 131 in 2018 to 163 in 2019. According to a U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service census announced yesterday, the numbers represented a 24% increase, the largest increase since 2014. 19 packs had pups alive and thriving at the end of the year. Whoa, well, that's good to see. This increase represents countless moments of wolf vigilance and smarts in avoiding people, which is a big part of keeping their precious pups alive. Said Michael Robinson of the Center for Biological Diversity. It's heartening to have more wolves in our force, but federal officials need to take much stronger action to establish healthy genetic diversity. 12 captive born wolf pups were released into the wild last year to be raised by unrelated wolves. This attempt aimed at sharing the more diverse captive population genes with the genetically impoverished wild population. Only 2 of the 12 pups are known to have survived. Wow, that's not good. Despite releases of 30 captive born pups from 2016 through 2019, just 7 are known to have survived. Ouch. The inbreeding of Mexican gray wolves has worsened each year. The Fish and Wildlife Service refuses to release pairs of well bonded adult wolves with their pups, family packs from captivity into the wild. Such releases establish the existing wolf population and have a much higher success rate than separating pups from their mothers for release. Interesting. I didn't know that we had released like full on structured captive packs into the wild. I thought maybe that was a bit of a like too much of a shock for them, but I guess they had been rehabilitated to quite an extent that this is possible. And yeah, why aren't that's insane that they're not um, letting these different rehabilitation centers release them. The livestock industry dominated Arizona Game and Fish Department's opposition to family releases, which halted the practice after 2006. Oh, wait a second. Oh, okay. So I guess it's saying that the livestock industry backed up the Arizona Game and Fish Department.
To not let them be released.
Yeah,
They didn't want their cattle eaten.
yeah. I This is where even somebody like me says, um, I can have a hard time even backing up like the different ranchers in these instances because it's like either you just want the animal to go extinct or you can't have it where
Can't
there's
have it both
intense.
ways.
Yeah, you can't have where there's an intense amount of inbreeding. Let's see. Center for Biological Diversity advocates for resuming the releases of family packs of wolves from captivity to the wild to reduce inbreeding. But then you have these organizations which are pretty anti-hunting, and I'm not anti-hunting. Um, but it's also, I also don't support, wiping out the whole species. So let's see. The wild population of Mexican gray wolves in the United States was established in 1998 through the successful releases of family packs. Your support right now is crucial for the animals. Okay, so there's just this sad wolf in the corner.
He wants you to buy him a couple of cows.
This is actually a really smart way to get people to fund. Help us raise 150,000. For what though? We have no idea. um, wait, what?
He wants his own cows.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Could you give us some more bison? I don't know. He maybe he's like an Iberian wolf or something. He doesn't look like a North American gray wolf, unless he's a Mexican wolf. But Mexican wolves, I swear, have a bit of a different sort of a pigment to them. And yes, Mexico, not all of Mexico, but at least from the north to the central area of Mexico, used to be the native range for the Mexican gray wolf, as well as different parts of Southern California, and then much of Arizona, New Mexico, possibly the western part of Texas as well. Okay, well, let's head to the next video. It was the article was a bit of a shock and a bit humorous too. Apparently, they stopped. There were successful reintroductions with the wolf packs, and then it stopped in 2006. I thought maybe it was still occurring. So it's just with the pups, and most of them are perishing. So let's see.
Okay, I just thought this was funny.
Oh, I think I remember this. Yes, turtle went up to this lion. I think was trying to bite it. I'm not sure what it thought the whiskers were. Oh no, he's got an injury. No, he wants to eat the lion. Unless he thinks he's like a maggot or something, and maybe there's some rotten flesh. But that's this is kind of deranged. First, I was thinking maybe he wanted to bite the
Yeah, it's
whiskers,
right
but
where its
like,
blood is.
yeah, why does he want to bite the whiskers? Lion's not even interested in having turtle soup. I'm like, go ahead.
I know, he's like, "Just get away."
Okay, so heading to the next article from Newsweek.com. Blue whales go silent off California coast. Sparks alarm among scientists. We've seen a lot of I don't know, I guess conflict with the different animals and people in this instance.
Are we talking about the whales, or are we talking about the articles I picked?
Yeah, the articles beforehand. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So that picture is off the coast of Long Beach, California. Researchers detected a drop in blue whale songs off the coast of California following a marine heat wave. A 6-year study by the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute showed songs detected were the lowest in 2015 following the climate event known as the blob. The blob. That's funny. Detection of whale songs has since increased, but blue whale songs remain notably lower than humpback whale songs detected, which the researchers believe indicate the species may be more vulnerable to ocean condition changes. This study means that we need to consider all factors that threaten the recovery of endangered whale populations. Low population size, diminished food resources, being struck by massive, fast moving ships, getting entangled in fishing gear, by John Ryan, a biological oceanographer who leads MBARI's ocean soundscape team and the lead author of the study. Blue whales are a prime example, he said, as they were severely decimated by commercial hunting, and their endangered populations need our understanding and action to support recovery. Whale songs provide key insight into ocean ecology and the health of whales, allowing scientists to make estimations on the prevalence of the species in
Okay,
certain
so
areas.
far, what is this article about?
Okay, as fewer blue whale songs are being detected by the Institute study, there is concern about how changing ocean conditions are impacting the species. Ugh, okay, come on. Okay, what's going on here? In 2015, the blob heat wave covered the west coast, resulting in elevated temperatures ashore, while krill and forage fish, vital sources of food for whales, declined, and harmful algae blooms began to spread. I still haven't looked into the algae issue. Fish species also moved northwards by hundreds of miles that year. Whoa, wow. Showing a marked impact on how ocean temperatures affect migration patterns and sea life. I haven't heard of that. That's quite a shock. Got a wide variety of fish species. So the decline in krill is particularly problematic for blue whales, as krill is their only food source. While humpback whales also eat small fish such as anchovies and sardines. So they had other food sources during that year. The lack of food alongside the change in ocean conditions, likely contributed to the drop in whale songs in 2015. As when krill and forage fish numbers increased in the third year of the study, whale songs started to increase as well. In the fifth year of the study, krill abundance was once again lower, as was the detection of blue whale songs, further emphasizing the link between krill availability and blue whale song detection. Okay. As humpback whales had other sources of food, as forage fish remained abundant that year, detection of their songs continued to significantly increase. Blue whales are okay. Um, while food availability was highlighted as a key factor in song detection, the researchers also note that there are likely a number of other factors, such as changes in local population abundance and the timing of their annual migration, contributing to the changes in song detection. It is the parallel variations in food resources and song that they focus on. Ryan said that they therefore found strong parallel changes in the foraging ecology and whale song. The concern is about differing vulnerability of different whale species to the impacts of marine heat waves. Okay, so he added that blue whales emerge as being more vulnerable because they are less flexible in their diets. In contrast, humpback whales simply shifted their diet over to fish that became tremendously abundant at the same time that krill became less abundant. Okay. Okay, let's see if there's anything else going on here. There's also blaming it on ships. Um, so they've got a smaller population size over in the eastern North Pacific. Um, okay, well, I guess I might have to do a bit of a deeper dive into what's going on with these different populations over in the Pacific when it comes to blue whales. So, hang to the next video. Okay, let's going on here. Oh, there's the snow leopards.
Are they just having a fun slide or are they
Apparently,
playing? I'm gonna get you.
I haven't seen snow leopards slide like that before. Wonder where this is occurring.
They just run into the wall?
I don't think so. I wonder if they're a couple of siblings. This could be in some part of like Pakistan, Afghanistan, maybe northern part of India, some part of China, possibly even Uzbekistan. So
It's
probably
just
some area of the Himalayas.
I wouldn't think they would slide like that.
There's other mountain ranges. Yeah, it's actually a bit shocking. Oh, okay, I think. Oh, interesting. So yeah, they're preying on like different types of wild goats in the region. So let's see. From worldanimalnews.com, 10 critically endangered Javan slow lorises are rescued and will be set free in the Indonesian rainforest. So these are actually relatives of lemurs, apes, other species of monkeys, and as well um, people. So this is actually a type of primate. Last month, 10 critically endangered Javanslolorises were transported to the Mount Sawol Wildlife Reserve in Siamis, West Java. So this is an island over in Indonesia. And it seems like it's even adjacent to the Javan rhino area as well, where they will undergo habituation before their complete release into the rainforest. And look at him. He looks very cheerful. The lorises consist of 4 males and 6 females. Naira, Aiko, Kaha, Putra, Arimbi, Switch. April, Gato, Gatot, Kaka, Neno, and Noku. Um, okay, interesting.
So Switch is the only one that sounds like it doesn't belong.
Yeah, so, what? You gave one an Italian name, you gave one an English name. That's, and the others are all Indonesian. Hopefully it can get along. And there isn't any, segregation, I don't know. I mean, they're slow horses, they should be okay. Most of them have been surrendered by members of the local community to the Natural Resources Conservation Agency in the West Java region since 2018. They have since undergone lengthy rehabilitation at the International Animal Rescue Primate Rehabilitation Center in Bogor, West Java. The facility is the only one of its kind in Indonesia. The keeping of Solorises as pets is having a devastating impact on wild populations, particularly as their natural habitat is also under threat. Well, I mean, yeah, they're a big part of the illegal wildlife trade. The IAR Indonesia team has invested a huge amount of time and effort into helping these little primates recover and return to their wild behavior. So, yeah, you do have it where many of these different species will feed on different types of insects and I believe even different species of fruit. Yeah, so they're Slilorse. I think they're taking it just out of
So
the
basically, they munch on insects and then they have dessert.
somewhat. Yep. Sadly, when they first arrive at the center, the lorises are usually suffering from stress, trauma, and malnutrition, and they often display behavioral changes because their needs as wild lorises have not been met. They have been deprived of a suitable living environment and appropriate food and have been unable to behave as they would in the wild. During the lorises' habituation, the team in the field will continue to observe and record the changes in their behavior for 2 to 4 weeks. If during the habituation period all the lorises are active and don't display any abnormal behaviors, they can finally be set free. So I guess that's a mother with her um just youngster.
Well, that one doesn't look as small.
That one looks a bit larger. The 10 slow lorises were confirmed to be ready to return to their natural habitat after going through treatment and recovery procedures such as quarantine, medical examinations, and behavioral observations at the rehabilitation center. The normal treatment procedures at the center have been reinforced in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. IAR's teams using masks and other PPE. I think though this has been seen with different types of primates for a long time, not to the COVID pandemic. Um, Specifically because there are certain diseases that people are immune to that these other primates are not immune to. So that's why in some instances they go out into these when releasing them and they're covered up. Have limited contact with the animals even more than usual, and the number of personnel working the field has also had to be reduced. Okay, well that is due to the um, pandemic. Okay, so I think this seems to be like a young Lorse. He seems a bit somewhat cheerful. Oh, yeah, that's a closer look. So, yeah, he seems okay. I mean, his fur condition, I think everything else about him seems fine. During the pandemic, we have improved the health and safety protocols covering release activity to minimize the risk of disease transmission. We have ensured that the implementation of protocols such as physical distancing and using masks is carried out properly. Um, I just thought that was normal with slow horses. All adjustments during the release. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, so he is now being released. He's like, wow, this is amazing. The Slow Loris Conservation Program in the SMGS area is a collaboration between the Central Natural Resources Conservation Agency of West Java, BPKSDA Jawa Barat, and IAR Indonesia. This program supports the survival of slow lorises and their ecological functions in the area, as well as to conserve their population when numbers continue to fall due to hunting and illegal trade.
Why would someone hunt them?
I kind of wonder that for any type of primate. SMGS is a conservation area with an ecosystem that is considered suitable as a place to conserve and to protect the survival of slow lorises. Said Warren, a forest ranger, the Natural Resources Conservation Agency of Siamis region, based on results of the survey conducted by the IAR Indonesia and BKSDA Siamis team. The area has good potential in terms of security, availability of food, shade, and several other components, vital components for loris habitat. Okay, so these boxes are probably where, or they are where the lorises are being contained. They're about to release them. Phew. Okay.
Why do we still have that wolf?
Yeah, he's just I think he's a it's interesting. He doesn't exactly look sad, but there's something about him. It's almost like he's smirking. He's like, I don't really need your help. I mean, I'm okay, but I could always use um some extra
Steak?
I don't know, ibex released into the region or maybe yeah, even young cows.
Okay, so this next video, I can't tell if it's AI.
Uh looks at it from this appearance. I like that. Hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. What's wrong with his tail?
Hmm.
Yeah, nope. That's fake. Even the landscape and the zebras or something odd behind it.
Okay, hold on, which one was it?
Oh, Sai. The news, Sai News. Okay. So, heading back in time from Sai News, two Jurassic mammal relatives had uniquely shaped jaw points. The evolution of the modern mammal jaw is more complex than previously thought, according to a new analysis of fossils belonging to two mammaliomorph species, Molistodon chuwanensis, a Middle Jurassic herbivorous tritylodontiid with a relatively large body size and a lifestyle that is likely to have been fossorial, and Camerocondylus lufengensis, the newly described Morganucodontin from the early Jurassic. Woo! That's quite a few, different names up there.
That's a mouthful.
I know a few of these I'm not too familiar with. And because a lot of time these smaller mammals tend to get pushed aside. They've been definitely been pushed out a bit more in recent discoveries and paleoconservations, but conversations.
Wait a minute. Is that
Yes,
yeah,
he has a horn on his face. There's another species. Actually, believe there's different species of like relatives of beavers later on in the Cenozoic era. So after the dinosaurs, but you can see a stegosaur at the top of their burrow. Looks like something, not a Tyungosaurus or a Kentrosaurus. It's another species. It's not a Miragaia. It's not hitting me what specific stegosaur. And no, not a stegosaurus. So let's see. In mammals, the joint that connects the skull to the lower jaw is made up of two bones, the squamosal and the dentary, the tooth bearing bone in the lower jaw. Let's see, said Dr. Hing Meng, a curator at the American Museum of Natural History, a researcher at City University of New York. This structure replaced an older jaw joint found in reptiles, which involved two different bones, the quadrate and the articular. So I believe, yeah, these are all Polystodon chuwanensis. So as animals evolved from early mammal-like reptiles, no, they were synapsids, not reptiles. So proto mammals.
yeah, why do they keep saying that?
Yeah, I think you still have some people out there, even different paleontologists, that still view them as mammal-like reptiles. Into true mammals, several experimental versions of this new jaw joint appeared and helped support the pressure of chewing. Eventually, this led to the emergence of a double jaw joint in which the new dentary squamosal joint carried most of the chewing workload while the reptilian joint continued to function, providing the initial system for airborne sound hearing. So, over time, the dentary squamosal became the only joint in the articular quadrate joint transformed into the tiny bones of the mammalian middle ear, a key feature that helps mammals hear. But scientists still don't fully understand how this new jaw joint evolved, mostly because the fossil record from this period is very limited. I guess when it comes to complete specimens of these different types of mammals from the Jurassic, um, setting aside the dinosaurs in this instance. Well, okay, I mean, depends on the species of dinosaurs too. There are quite a variety of different species of dinosaur from the Jurassic. So between 201 to 145 million years ago, that um, there have only been fragmentary remains found, or a single vertebrae, maybe part of the skull, some unidentified teeth, toe bone, and it can be much the same with even these different types of mammals. Let's see. The evolution of the mammalian jaw joints is one of the most intriguing and incomplete chapters in vertebrate history, with key transitions obscured by gaps in the fossil record. The researchers used high resolution computed tomography scanning to look at two fossil specimens from the Institute of Vertebrate Paleontology and Paleoanthropology at the Chinese Academy of Sciences. That's interesting. I just thought it would have been somewhere else over in the United States, considering we're referring to the American Museum of Natural History. Okay, one of them is Polystodon chuanensis, an opossum-sized animal that had a horn and likely used for digging. The second is Camerocondylus lufagensis, a newly described squirrel-sized animal that lived in the early Jurassic between about 174 and 201 million years ago. Paleontologists found new jaw formations in both ancient animals. In Polystodon chuanensis, they identified a uniquely shaped secondary jaw joint between the jugal and the dentary bones, first discovery of its kind in any four-limbed animal. And in Camerocondylus lufagensis, they described a simple articular head of the dentary bone that appears to show an evolutionary transition to a form that fits into a socket of an initial new jaw joint. These discoveries increase the diversity of jaw joints in mammalian evolution and expand our understanding of the evolutionary sequence of key mammalian characteristics that are critical for understanding how mammals process their food and hear airborne sounds. Not very much at all that I can say about this specific mammal. Um,
You know, these articles, I swear, Sci News is meant for normal people. Yet I've caught some of them that seem to be far too technical and not describe things enough.
Yeah, they don't, or they don't really go into basic detail, or they don't specifically mention like what a specific bone is or a muscle. They might mention it for one or two, but that's about it.
Yeah, so unless it's someone like you, I'm sitting here going, What?
Yeah, for most people. Let's just head over to the next article.
Wait.
Oh, right, next video.
Okay, this one I can't tell either.
Let's see what's going on here. Seems to be either using something or just grooming. Yeah, it's all that he's doing. So also can't really tell if he's a Eurasian or a North American beaver.
Itchy. Oh, yeah.
It's just a lot of grooming that goes on.
Oh.
Maybe also,
So is he
moving
like a giant,
moving their
br
scent all over their body.
not a Brillo pad, a, loofah?
Um, no.
He's not
Um,
like a giant loofah?
no, they can be quite, soft, quite communicative too. Okay, so from, English.news.com, watch this. Rare footage. Tibetan brown bear digging to prepare for winter. That is rare footage. So it's probably over in Western China, over in the Tibet Plateau. It's an immense area over in China. I think it possibly extends over into neighboring Uzbekistan, possibly Kazakhstan, sliver of Mongolia, I believe, and possibly Pakistan. So it seems like a female and her cub, and I believe it's a wild family. So it's probably going to be their second winter. I don't think we can tell how far she dug. Tibetan brown bears are a bit of a smaller subspecies. They're not as small as the Gobi bear over in Mongolia, but they reach somewhere around 350 to 400 pounds, or a little over, what, 170 kilograms. So rangers have captured rare footage of a Tibetan brown bear and her cubs digging to prepare for hibernation in the Altan Mountains of northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. And that's it. Okay, well, I don't think it's finished, but let's keep going. Also, hope. Wait a second. Hold on. Um, I have to say, I don't think they were immediately preparing because she seemed. This is probably fake. Um, she seemed a bit thin to be preparing for hibernation. Like not even close to fully. Um, she wasn't fat.
Maybe she was just preparing?
That's pretty. Usually, it's like right beforehand. So, yeah, this is AI. I think. Yeah, that's AI. Looks like an animatronic, at least in the way it was doing that. But yeah, it's unfortunate how many of these have popped up. Okay, from the dodo.com. Girls find tote bag full of little animals in park, then see a sign taped to it. It was freezing outside. It was a cold morning in Brooklyn, New York, when two young women showed up at Sean Casey Animal Rescue holding a grocery bag full of hamsters. They explained to the staff that they'd found the bag in a nearby park earlier that day. On the bag itself, it just had a sign drawn on it saying "free hamsters."
Free the hamsters?
Well, that too. Yeah, wow. Bring you all the flavors of home. There's free hamsters. When the rescue staff peered inside the
Is
bag,
that like for a hawk?
yeah, that's deranged. They were shocked to find many more hamsters than they'd expected. 11 in total. Whoever had dumped the animals had crammed them all inside the bag along with a few pieces of crumpled paper towels. My biggest concerns was that they wouldn't have survived because it was very cold outside. Well, also dehydration, lack of food, they're suffocating under their own waste. Who knows? Urine, they can't. So, wow. They must have found them within a short period of time, too. It doesn't seem like they've been in there for long, but this small of a box and 11 hamsters. That's insane.
Who had 11 hamsters?
I don't know. But luckily, thanks to the girls' quick thinking in bringing the hamsters to the rescue, the little animals were all perfectly healthy and active. Still, everyone at Sean Casey Animal Rescue is heartbroken. It was very surprising. It's also very sad at the same time that people would do this instead of bringing them to a shelter or any place. While hamsters are often skittish in new environments, Corey and the rest of the rescue staff were surprised to find that despite everything they'd been through, these little balls of fluff were pretty outgoing. Yeah, I'm shocked too. Guess after they were released? Wow.
Rele Released where?
Oh, well, okay, in a better enclosure. Or, yeah, no, it's,
I've
just
never understood the whole hamster thing.
yeah, I don't either. They're not happy in those wheels and small cages. They wanna be out there in burrows over in different parts of Central Asia. So they're not native to North America. Um, these guys were all super friendly. The shelter staff decided to name all of the hamsters after Disney princes and princesses. Like Navid, Jasmine, and Mulan. Oh, okay. Within just a few weeks, 9 of them had gotten adopted and found real life fairy tale endings. Well, I mean, they're with their Asian comrades, so West
It
Asian.
is it that did they just name them after a bunch of fat characters?
I thought Mulan was a Chinese one.
Was Mulan Oh, I don't remember.
Within just a few weeks, 9 of them had gotten adopted and found real life fairy tale endings. I was thinking maybe one of them would have named one of them Thumper, but that's a
That's a
rodent.
rabbit.
Yeah. The 6 female hamsters got
Like naming
adopted.
one of them Bambi.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's fine. You can name it Zazu or, um,
Actually, Zazu might work for a hamster.
yeah, Rafiki. So Pumbaa, the 6 female hamsters or Timon would be better, got adopted in 2 groups of 3, while 3 males got adopted out individually. Honestly, it was super amazing to see, and a lot of them went home to the same place.
But wait, somebody adopted a bunch of them?
Um, so it said within just a few weeks, 9 of them had gotten adopted. 6 female hamsters got adopted in 2 groups of 3, and then 3 males were adopted out individually.
Oh, sure, so separate out the males.
Yeah. Oh, he seems okay. Now only Prince Charming and Prince Eric are still waiting to be adopted.
This sounds like sexism.
Hopefully, it won't be long before they find their forever families. We're just happy they were able to give these hamsters another chance at living a better life. Yeah, it's that's mean. Okay. Oh no, this actually occurred. Oh no. Yeah, I remember this. He jumps in.
Jesus. He's going back.
I got a feeling that goat is not happy.
That that goat wants to be tacos. I I don't I mean, that's a suicidal
The
what
other
the hell? What's
one. Oh no.
this? Oh god.
That's
I didn't
that,
watch the whole thing. I
that's
only saw the beginning of it.
that's still sad, the fact that that's occurring, because they're pretty intelligent. That's not good. Okay. Oh, all right. From outdoors.com. What do we have here? Looks like a white moose.
What is with the giant advertisement at the bottom?
Oh, yeah, that's annoying. Incredible white spirit moose filmed in Canada. Hey, it looks like a pretty healthy individual. Well, okay. He's got some fur issues. Probably having to deal with ticks. Oh yeah, look at this. It's not too great. Beautiful and rare white spirit moose crossed the road in front of a pair of storm chasers and nature lovers, causing the women to tear up. The sighting was in Alberta, Canada. But the women have decided not to disclose their exact location in hopes that they can protect this incredible animal. Worried he was going to get shot, or maybe he was suffering from ticks. Teresa Tree Tanner and Darlene Dar Tanner told CBS News that the experience moved them greatly. When they see the encounter as a good omen. As soon as the women spotted the moose on the side of the road, they pulled over to observe it from a distance. Another moose with more typical coloration followed the white moose across the road. Watch the spirit moose cross the road here.
How did the moose cross the road? Hold on. Oh, it won't let me.
Oh, oh, he's literally crossing like
There.
I guess a highway in the middle of the rural area.
How do I make it so you could see the whole thing?
Yeah, I don't think
There.
can it? Nope. Or
Seriously? But oh,
ah,
there
there
you
we
go.
go. Oh, oh, I thought it was a much heavily forested area. It's really not. I would say maybe you're distraught because there's not a lot of food, at least in the corresponding region. I'm not sure where specifically this is over in Canada. Whoa, okay, he's got a bit of a fur issue, unless he's somewhat white colored as well.
That was quick though.
Hmm.
He didn't wait to get hit by a car.
I wonder if this is like earlier spring because they seem to have, or not spring,
Oh,
No, maybe even late winter, and there just isn't a lot of snow on the ground because I think he had a small bell, but I'm not seeing any nubs for antlers. Maybe it is a female. So Tanners told CBS that they spend half an hour to an hour observing the moose from a respectful distance. I think that's it. Oh, I had tears in my eyes, and I told Teresa, "This is like a once in a lifetime thing, and I'm so glad we could share this together." Okay, I think that's it. All right. I guess let's look at the next video. Let's see, devoted mother. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, right.
My
Yeah,
god,
very
how many
much.
kids does she have?
Yeah, it's possum.
Uh,
Maybe over 12.
Wait, does she give birth to all those at once?
I believe so. They're much smaller. Oh,
She's
whoa! Oh, okay, there's an under area. Oh,
Mom.
they got stuck.
Oh, oops. Kids, get in here.
Just go through the, tunnel.
Because I got through there. How come you can't? Uh, uh, I didn't. That amazes me. Squishing down there. She leave some of the kids out?
I can't tell what that was. Oh, no, that's good to see. Hopefully, she can rear all those pups to adulthood or joeys. She's a marsupial. So from explorersweb.com, too hot for them. Alpine ibex now prefer moving at night despite wolves. Seems to be a female. I wonder where this is occurring. It said alpine, but I mean, that could be any mountain range. As the days get hotter across Europe, the alpine ibex's behavior and daily routines are changing. This is referring to a certain summer. A research team from Sardinia has been using GPS trackers to monitor the daily movements of the goats between May and October since 2006. They tracked 47 goats across two national parks and amassed 13 years of data. Typically, ibex make their way down the mountains during the day to feed at lower altitudes, but this is happening less and less. Huh. I was actually wondering maybe if it was due to just extreme tourism in the maybe whatever area this is occurring. Um, let's see where it is. Also, we don't know exactly. So I guess it's just female ibex and several kids. I'm guessing these are also belonging to other female ibex in the area. Instead, the goats are often foraging at night, even in areas with high concentrations of nocturnal predators. There is minimal cover in the areas where ibex feed, and wolves patrol these areas at night. The ibex seem to have decided that avoiding the heat is more crucial than avoiding predators. Geez, how hot is it reaching wherever this? Oh, we expected higher levels of nocturnal activity in Switzerland, where wolves, one of the ibex's main predators, were absent. But we found the opposite. We found that activity is higher in the areas with wolves. Nocturnal activity brings other risks too. Navigating steep mountain faces is significantly harder in the dark, and the goats are not particularly well adapted to a nocturnal lifestyle. Yeah, I was thinking though maybe it wasn't necessarily um, the heat, like depending on where the ibex population is, but it's referring to the Alps of Switzerland, maybe the over tourism in the different regions, and it's having impact on their feeding behavior. So let's see. Nocturnal activity brings other risks too. Navigating. Oh, I already said that. Their movement in the rocky slopes where they live is probably more difficult at night, which could make the foraging and foraging strategies less efficient. Even certain parts of the Himalayas over in India where, we have a lot of people, um, marching, which I was wondering maybe this is where it took place and not somewhere like Switzerland, that tourism might be having an impact too. But, this is interesting. So this is over in, this specific part of Central Europe. So he's quite shed. That's a male ibex. Are changing. Okay, let's see. Researchers are worried that the ibex are making themselves more susceptible to predation and less able to feed properly in the dark. Well, so far we don't have any data suggesting that the wolves are majorly hunting them. Ibexes are particularly vulnerable because they're low genetic diversity. Oh, yeah, that too. During the 1800s, numbers dropped dramatically because of hunting. At one point, only 100 wild individuals remained. Hunting bans helped numbers rebound. There are now tens of thousands of alpine ibex in Europe. Whoa, I didn't know that, but they still have low genetic variety. Um, I mean, Switzerland doesn't have many wolves, so I wouldn't think this would have too much of an impact on them, having a more nocturnal lifestyle. But also, did it even state when specifically this occurred? It just says that they've been tracking them since 2006. 47 goats over two national parks. That's also a small fraction compared to the whole population. But also, where are these two national parks over in Switzerland? Yeah, a huge portion of the country is just basically Alps or large mountain ranges in the region. But you also have it where depending on what part of the Alps you're in, because many tend to see it as it's like the same ecosystem. That's not entirely true, depending on what part of the Alps that you're in. If the Western Alps is different from the Eastern Alps. So, yeah, it's not giving much data on what's really going on. Has it even affected their population at all? It just mentioned that apparently they're having a more nocturnal lifestyle. So, all of this is a huge question. Are the wolves having even a slight impact on them? I thought though that hunting was now legal again for them, but besides that, they seem to be doing fine. I mean, obviously, they're as a whole in their population has skyrocketed from those 100 individuals. So, um, we will see you tomorrow. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guide Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you love talking about animals, and share this show with everyone you know.